Wakisashi's Tea House. Please subscribe. Konnichiwa minasan, this is Wakizashi coming to you from the tea house over in Japan. How are you doing? Are you good? I am Genki. Okay, today I want to do a review of, here we go, Arkham City, The Order of the World, Issue 1. This is written by Dan Watters with art by Danny. And it was released on Tuesday, October 5th for the DC Comics price of $3.99. So, what do I think of this issue and what's it all about? First, here's a little extract from the synopsis on the League of Comic Geeks page. So let me just read from here. It's believed that several of the asylum's patients have escaped and scurried off into the dark nooks and crannies of Gotham City. Now these Arkhamites walk among us, and it's up to the asylum's one remaining doctor, Dr. Jocasta Joy, to round up her former patients, so Dr. JJ. And within these pages you'll meet a piggy in search of perfection, a woman with no face, a man who feels nothing and burns everything, a woman who must devour life to save herself, and a man unfit for the waking world who looks instead for Wonderland, a body with more than one soul, a being unbound from time who lives in the present and the past, a boy who seeks the comfort of vermin, and the twisted man who sees them all for what they are. And you might even witness an avenging angel stalking them all in the background. So, let me give you my thoughts on the issue. First of all, I want to point out that Batman makes no appearance in this issue. He's referred to, that's all. This issue focuses solely on the escapees, or some of the escapees from Arkham Asylum, and the new character, Dr. Jocasta Joy. So, I found it a very dark, a very creepy, a very literate story. I enjoy the writing by Dan Watters, whose work I've read before. I enjoyed his work in Lucifer, for one. I like the focus on some of the rogues of Batman's gallery. There were some that I didn't know and I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure if there are any brand new characters or if Dan Watters has brought up some of the older ones. It's a really good look at some of Batman's rogues. You know, it focuses on the villains for a change. Okay, there's no Batman, but I found it to be a kind of dark and creepy Arkham Asylum-esque story. So for that I recommend it. I also recommend it for Danny's art. Now, I don't know if you've seen her work before. I've seen her work in Coffin Bound, which is another series by Dan Watters and Danny. So it's got a very heavy, thick line, kind of expressionistic, stylish. The colours are muted, but it really suits the story. You know, it suits the atmosphere, in my opinion. So yeah, this is a recommend from me. If you're interested in this kind of darker, seedier side of Gotham and, you know, what goes on behind the scenes in the asylum, who are these people, what happens to them when they get out, check this issue out, give it a try. I'm definitely going to pick up issue 2, I'm looking forward to it. So, enough from my review, let's give you some of the story. Here we go. The story opens in a young girl's bedroom, and we see that we're reading from the journal of Dr. Jocasta Joy. The girl's name is Stephanie. Her cat's gone missing, and there's a squeaking sound coming from under the bed. Rats don't like cats. Under the bed, there's a crazed looking figure holding a knife. He comes out, he grabs the doctor, and she says, "Don't hurt me, you don't have to hurt anyone." "I have to eat the child," says the man. "You are a rat, aren't you, Otis? You're the rat catcher." So this appears to be the rat catcher, and just as he's about to attack, zap! Squeak! He gets hit in the back. The police restrain the rat catcher as a terrified little girl watches on from the background. As they take him outside, one of the police officers says, "Come on, rat catcher, God, you stink." And rat catcher's talking about how Arkham, not the asylum but the man, will find me. Dr. Joy is worried about the press getting hold of the story, and if it hits the newspapers, Gotham is going to become more dangerous. And the police are like, what? Dangerous for the Arkham escapees or the people of Gotham? Then she wants to go to visit the asylum. It's been locked down since the attack by the Joker. Here we go, let's have a closer look at this gorgeous picture of the asylum by Danny, the artist. So there's a bit of a recap here of the events that caused the asylum to be closed. Patients, staff, very few escaped. It just so happens that Dr. Joy was on a day off when the attack happened, which is now known as A-Day. Then she says Arkham sits hollow. It's not been decided whether it will be torn down or reinvented. And then there's a bit of a diatribe about the language used to describe these places. Back in the 18th century they were called madhouses. In the 19th they became lunatic asylums. And so they enter the asylum and Dr. Joy goes to her office accompanied by one of the police. "You got some pretty gruesome gear in your here, Dr. Joy." "Well, I don't let the patients see it. This is my private office." And then she's looking through the files, and at the bottom of the page here there's a familiar looking picture. Can you see? Oops. Professor Pig. And then we cut to Professor Pig. Here he is. What's he up to? He's very happy. There's a person in front of him and he likes to cut their faces off. He wants to make them perfect. So he usually puts a doll's face on instead. But this time the professor gets a surprise, because on this one there is no face. And he's never seen anything so perfect as that. The scene switches again and we're in the Gotham sewers and we find the Mad Hatter being pursued by something or someone. It's unclear what it is, but it appears to be carrying a sword. Then we hear about some of the different rogues, the villains that have escaped and what they're up to. There's talk of Double X, who I have no idea who that is. And then on the next page we find out about Nocturna and Dr. Phosphorus. I love this contrast here in the two rooms. They are very normal. They have an apartment and a TV and a dining table, just like normal people. And then Dan Waters writes, "He's not a 7-foot radioactive skeleton and she's not a vampire, because those would not be normal." And Dr. Joy's talking about the ones that slipped through the cracks. She's worried about them, how long they'll survive. Will they be able to survive outside of the asylum? And then we hear about a man covered in bandages who's whispering to himself. Okay, on the next page we're hit with this. "And then there is I, and I am the 10-eyed man, and I can see you." Look at this, who is it? What a weird design. It's pretty cool and eye-catching. He's talking about a great fear settling upon the city, so must be a reference to the fear state running at the moment in the DC comics. And he's talking about he's got to perform a ritual. The guy's saying, "Please don't hurt me." The 10-eyed man is describing what each finger can do. "With this finger I can see your face. Now, when I hide it, you can no longer see me. Just leave me alone, please. Don't hurt me." Okay, then we switched back to the asylum. Catch up with Dr. Joy. The detective is talking about the founder of Arkham Asylum, old Amadeus Arkham, and the rumours that his ghost still wanders the corridors of the asylum. Dr. Joy says, "It's a metaphor, detective. He's been dead for over 100 years. For years it's been rumoured that his ghost walks these corridors. For many of the patients, he's a symbol of the thin line between them as patients and us as doctors." The detective gets a call. "Okay, I'm on my way. Dr. Joy, I could use your help." We switch to another scene here. Well, pretty brutal. What's going on? There's some history of Jervis Tetch, who is actually the Mad Hatter, how he believes he's a fictional character from a Lewis Carroll novel, of course, a very famous one. And he has a mind control technology which allows him to pull others, to convince others of his delusion, and he uses them as his henchmen. Then we switch to this one. The problems begin when the boundaries of that wonderland are breached. A beat officer noticed a smell coming from the manhole. Ooh. He thought someone was cooking hot dogs down here. Nice black joke there from Dan Waters. So, Dr. Joy's talking about how Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, creates his henchmen with his technology, and then here he seems to have killed them or fled, and then suddenly, there's a scream. Oh hell, get the paramedics down here, one of these is still alive. Okay, on the next page, police detectives getting angry with Dr. Joy. "You told me to keep it out of the papers, and this is what happens. This man, this family, they were probably a normal family until the Mad Hatter got hold of them. Do you understand me? I've been keeping this quiet, keeping it out of the press. But at this point, I've got bigger things to worry about. The hood, the fire, and the howling. More spooky crap. Great. At this point, I hope there is a ghost. I'd appreciate any help." Okay, let's move on to the next page. We do catch up with Jervis Tetch, or the Mad Hatter. First of all, I thought it was him that had been fried, but it's not. Here he is. "Hello, Mrs. Sheep? March Hare, is that you?" "You aren't him either. You are... Oh, it's good to see you," he says. It appears to be a bright, shining light reflecting off him. Can we go home? Dr. Joy is returning to her apartment. It seems the asylum's delusions truly are now walking its streets. There's blood on the floor. What's this? As she opens the door into the apartment. Dearest Dr. Joy, as I live and breathe. The 10-eyed man. And then, what's this? I told you not to go out. I can't keep you safe if you keep leaving the apartment. I needed some teeth, he says. So what's going on here? Is this Dr. Joy? Is she harbouring the 10-eyed man? Believing that she can do some good somehow? Okay, on the next page, they're talking about finding a man in his office. Listen to this is horrible. Someone took his whole jawbone without breaking the skin. Wait, that's not even possible. He was delirious when we brought him in. And then we switch scenes to the man with the bandages. Remember him? Suddenly he's being attacked on the streets. Think you can fool us? Eat our children. He spoke to himself quietly on the rare occasions he left the house to keep at bay the PTSD attacks that were prone to overcome him. Just a normal guy, it turns out, who's been injured in the war, but he's being attacked as the fear state grips the city of Arkham. What's going to happen next? In the next issue, the Bloody Order of Azrael. And that's where the story ends. Okay, that's it for my review of Arkham City, The Order of the World, Issue 1. So, what did you think? Have you read it? If you have, please leave a comment below, that would be great. And if you could like, share, and even subscribe, that would be awesome. So, this is Wakizashi signing off from this video, hoping to see you in the next video. Okay, let's say it together. Mata ne! Wakizashi's Tea House. Please subscribe.